I think I'm live. I think I start every Brew and Blether saying that. And listening back, I never listen back to them for all the reasons I'm sure I've gone into in great detail before. But I always seem to start like I'll be a few seconds in still, or a few seconds late, I'll be chopped off. So I never seem to get the right thing. Now, whether that's a connection issue or not, I don't know. But I'm here and I am sitting in my studio with no lights on. Can I just. I know I've said this before. I do remember that. I don't remember much of what I say in these blethers, but I do remember saying before just how much I love the light in this place. I know I don't have a direct window, it's referred light, but it's a joy. It's such a joy, and air conditioning as well, which is rather good. I've just had it on because I was out for a lovely walk today, and it was really hot when I came back in, so it was wonderful. Just basking in really cool weather. Anyway, hello and welcome to the call. I also want to sort of say and good evening and here is the news, but well, it is. It's Aquinas News. It's Aquinas Blether. So we have Anne Marie on the call. Hello, Anne Marie, and we have Melanie as well. Good evening to you both. It's lovely to see you. It's just, I'm just really happy. And Lorna's here too. Hello, Lorna, and Nate as well, if he's beside you. Lovely to have you here. And as you can probably tell, it is indeed a blether tonight rather than a demonstration. I quite like these sort of having an intermittent one, so you get a demonstration one fortnight, and then the next fortnight it's me, and it's not even a brew because it's too warm for tea. Now, I feel like I'm being a heretic in saying that, but I am very much enjoying a glass of water with some freshly squeezed lime juice. Now, my lovely roommate Haley, who's reading a brilliant book at the moment about natural medical remedies and things like this. So she says if you put lime or lemon juice in water, it wakes up. Now, I have images of it with a wee, like, snoozing cap and sort of tucked up in bed. But anyway, I'm sure that's not quite what she meant, not literally. But it's very nice. Anyway, so yes, I went out today to pick up some limes from Tesco's. It was a nice, just over a 3 mile round trip. And I was going to break my trip at Starbucks, but that didn't happen because they're closed for a refurbishment. Anyway, so I was able to walk back and go to Tesco's and pick up my limes, and I got a few dog treats because there's a homeless chap who sits outside and he's got a beautiful dog. So I was going to get a packet of ice creams because he was sitting with his friend earlier on when I passed him by, but he wasn't there on the way back. Why was I telling you all this? Well, I was going to get a pack of like 3 ice creams and have one myself and give 2 to him, but there was only him, so he would have just been like left with lots of ice creams because I don't have a freezer here. This is about the one and only thing that I don't have here, which is quite impressive going, I have to say. Oh my goodness! Sorry, I have just realised again, this does not automatically scroll. You would think that I would finally remember that. But anyway, I haven't. So we have more people on the call. We have Tara. Hello, Tara. Did you get my email that I sent you today? I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're doing okay. I'm kind of looking over at the comments. That's why I'm kind of looking over there. That's where the comments are on my screen. Anyway, we have Sarah here as well. Lovely. We have Alison. Guten Tag. That's it. That's my German. That's as much as I can do. So, like, let's say hola. We'll say hola, and that'll do. Lovely to have you here as well. Oh my goodness, you've all put lots of comments. This is fantastic. Oh, this is lovely. Oh, Glenn is beside Lorna, watching the football. Do you know, I wondered, like, because I'm on the first floor, we've got a second floor. That's it. It's just quite a small mill. But, about, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes ago, I heard this, like, massive roar coming from upstairs. And I was like, oh my God, did somebody get murdered up there? I'm guessing that maybe England maybe scored, possibly. Something happened right about then. Anyway, not remotely interested in the football. Just doesn't. I don't really get the idea of blokes, running around a green, patch of grass, kicking a bag of wind. It's like, okay, much more fun with the wee creatures, that's for sure. Anyway, so Alison, I know, too warm for tea. Is it even possible? I know. I know, as I say, I feel like a total heretic now. I may have had something to do with the fact that I don't have any milk in as well. I've just been drinking what? Do you know how sometimes you get on a wee kick? And I'm just on a wee water kick at the moment. I haven't had tea for a while, actually. I don't know why. Whether I'm just needing a break from the caffeine, I don't know. But it is still a brew and a blether because I have brewed up my own watery concoction. So, which sounds not as nice as it tastes, actually. It's really good. So, and Alison is asking whether I ate all three ice creams. Actually, no, I didn't buy a box at all. I just bought the dog treats for his dog. But I stopped off at a small corner shop on the way back and got myself my own ice cream. So the next time he's there with a mate, because I didn't know whether do Tesco sell individual ice creams? I couldn't see them. I don't know that I've ever looked for them, but I don't know whether they do or not. If they had, I would have got one for each of us, but they didn't. There were only like boxes of 3 or 4. So I just thought, no, let's not give him an ice cream headache because that wouldn't be much fun. Anyway, enough of that blethering on. And Tara, you're saying that you got your email. Oh, just in the door from the Natural History Museum. That's such a beautiful building. I love it there. It's so nice. I hope everybody on the call has been to the Natural History Museum at some point. I first went, oh gosh, it was in primary 7, so I would have been, this is Scottish primary 7, so I would have been, what, 10, 11, maybe 12, possibly? It would have been 81, 82, so yeah, about 11 years old, I think. And we went on a school trip. We went, sorry, I'm just interrupting myself here. We've got Melissa on the call as well. And Alison has said that England has beaten Germany. I have a lot of friends currently drowning their sorrows with beer. I'm sure, absolutely. Oh, and nobody should boo anybody at football matches. I know that's what they do, but really, I mean, nationalism, I'm not a big fan, I have to say. I just think that, bounders, I will come, boundaries, borders, that's what, bounders. Borders on a map are just, it's just a line that somebody's drawn. So why that would give you any right to say that if I've been born on this side of the line, then I get a right to boo you on the other side of the line? It just doesn't make sense, really. But congratulations to England. Very pleased that you won. Apparently Scotland has been booted out. I didn't even know they were playing. That's how much I follow all these men playing around on a patch of grass, kicking a bag of wind. Anyway, what was I saying? Was it ice cream related, or had I moved on from there? Can't remember. Anyway, I will try and keep up with the comments as well. Yes, it is bad manners to boo. I think any kind of booing anywhere isn't really called for. It's just celebrate, enjoy it. Cheering is so much more positive. Why not just cheer? Cheer everybody. Cheer. It's fabulous. Natural History Museum. That's where I was. Thank you, Tara. You've just reminded me. So yes, went on a school trip to London. It was in five days, and we stayed in the Bayswater Hotel. This was the first time that I'd been allowed out. And I was so struck by the Natural History Museum and the Science Museum, which is next door. I have such good memories of them. Maybe again, this is just, again, where I just have been in love with wee creatures and big creatures, because of course they've got the giant dinosaur in the main hall of the Natural History Museum. It's just fascinating. It's huge, and you can never go around all of it. It's just, oh, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I hope you had a good time there. That's wonderful. And Nicola, I totally agree that booing is only permissible at the pantomime. And even there, it should be all done in good heart. Now, I'm not one for sort of like, don't offend anybody. I don't, it's only words. It's only, whatever, booing. But there's no need for it, So I'm not like, if you boo me, I'm going to be horribly offended and you should be banned from it. No. That's not what I'm talking about at all, remotely. But just cheering's just lets more endorphins out. Let's be honest, it makes you feel better. That's why we should be doing it, not because it's the woke thing to do. Anyway, before I get into the political vegetable patch. I want to say thistle patch. That'll do. The political thistle patch, which I shall avoid entirely, and say good evening to Rachel. Hello and welcome, Rachel. I do need to remember to keep scrolling on these comments. No need to apologise, Rachel. I don't think I've started. Oh, well, I have started, but I've not really got anywhere. Although we've been to the Natural History Museum, we've been to football, we've talked about boundaries on maps and how they're just a bit arbitrary, and we just, nationalism isn't all that it's cracked up to be, and we shouldn't be booing, we should be cheering because cheering's so much happier. Anything else I've missed? I'm sure there's probably, ice creams, yes, so always try and find a single ice cream if it's just for you. Getting a box of 4 when you don't have a freezer, not such a good idea, because then you just have to eat them all. And as I was still about a mile and a half away from the workshop, I thought I could technically, and I shouldn't, so I won't, and I didn't. So there you go. And Dawn is on the call too. Hello, Dawn. You're going to be hearing about Dawn for July, and for the Squeak Show in July, and I'm really excited, and I can't wait. So yes, actually, the main point of tonight. Well, there never is a main point, but I did want to just have a bit of a review of the first 6 months of Squeak Show. Could you believe we're 6 months? I know I've said this in so many emails, in so many newsletters. Can you believe that we're at 6 months? So you'll probably hear this, and you'll probably hear me saying, can you believe we're at 7 months? Can you believe we're at 8 months? Can we believe, it's just going to be a theme. So I kind of want to say, get used to it, just the same as when I sign off with Squeak soon. Because that's never getting old. That's just still tickles me, just cracks me up. Anyway, yeah, so a review of Squeak Show. It's just it's a journey, and we're only halfway through it. Oh, can you believe we're halfway through it? Anyway, thank you, Melissa, for that ice cream. It was, in fact, a strawberry ice cream that I had. Would you believe? I had, it was like a Cornetto knockoff that I had, but it was still just as nice. It was lovely. Just one cornet. Anyway, let's not get into any opera, because that's a whole nother kettle of fish. Not a big fan of opera, I must confess. I'm kind of like 16th century. That's it. Don't want to go any later than that. 16th century, Renaissance, sacred polyphony. In fact, it's quite specific. I'm quite niche that way. But anyway. Yes, 6 months already. It's like, oh my goodness. When I think back, I did keep a diary of it, sort of making notes as I went along for this eventual book, which may or may not happen. And I've kind of not been writing in it for a little while. But when I first got the idea, I was just scribbling it all the time, because it was just, how when an idea has its time, it just springs in fully formed, as it's like I didn't feel as though I had much say in the process. It was just like, oh, that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, let's do that. And it was just, I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know the specifics, which is always actually the best way to go. Focus on how it's going to feel, and the sort of the big picture idea, and let the details do take care of themselves. So despite the fact that I have spent some sleepless nights, not many, but there have been a few mornings that I've woken up in the middle of the night, sort of 3 o'clock in the morning, kind of go, oh, I've got all these calendar scenes. Oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. Doesn't happen very often, but I've had 1 or 2 mornings like that. But they just all work out. They really do. So I don't know whether you remember. The whole idea is that the Collectors Club is each month is a mouse inspired by that month's calendar scene. Now, I haven't made all the scenes yet, which is a bit nuts, really. I thought that the scenes would come first, and then the collectible mice would come in. But no, apparently it's been the other way around. So I kind of had I had sort of a big picture idea of January would be snowballs and the cozy snowball mice, because they were the December creatures. They were the Christmas, happy Christmas creatures for last year. And it was, but I do actually have the January scene done. That was the first one, but then I only started making some more of them. Did you notice I had a squirrel moment? I wasn't flagging it up this time, but I don't know why. I think I was distracted by Alison's comment saying bits of opera are good, just not a whole one. You're absolutely right. So squirrel went over there, and then it was like, oh no, I'm talking about the Squeak Show. reel it back. And let's get back onto this. So yeah, so I thought it would be the scenes that would, and they do to an extent, but actually, the mice that I've come up with for each of the months, yes, they have sort of been inspired by the broad theme of what I'm going to do, but then they have inspired how the calendar scenes have worked out. It's just, I love how they have their own mind. They wake, they do their own thing. They do their own thing. And they always know better than I do, really, at the end of the day. So I should just stop worrying and trust that they've got it all in hand, and I'll get the instructions at the right time and it'll all happen. Because it has to all happen now, because I now have a date for the photographer. Holly is coming down from Carlisle. Now, she's a friend of a friend, Rachel, who is married to another photographer. So this is how they've... Oh, I love it. I love all these sort of like weird, they're not weird connections, but they're great connections. But it's the way it works out. It's all synchronicity. Love it. Love it. So it was... Sorry, this is the other thing I'm trying to do. I'm trying not to scroll the screen, which is... I must take it. In fact, I should take a picture of this so you can see what I'm looking at, because I'm looking at myself and it's very disconcerting anyway. But if I try and scroll down the comments, sometimes I'll scroll down my screen, so I just suddenly disappear and I don't know what I'm doing. So anyway, enough. This is me. I am not a great techie kind of person, as you might have noticed after all these weeks and months of doing the Squeak Show. Years probably we're up to now. Don't know how many I've done. Must go back and check. Anyway, so yes, Alison, the Quernus creatures always do their own things. It is true. Oh, and Amory, you're saying about mice with ice cream cones. Yes, I've still got some of those wonderful ice cream cones I got in New Zealand when we were on our honeymoon, which is like 2.5 years ago now. It's like, hello. Again with the time, but apparently some theories, some ideas is that time does it only exists in a third dimensional reality, and otherwise everything is happening all at the same time in multiple universes. Quite like that idea. Kind of works. Not when you've got a deadline to work towards, but actually I really like having a deadline. So 7th of August, Holly, I'll come round, you see, I do. My brain sort of keeps track of what's going on sometimes, not always, but it's quite fun anyway. I still think of myself as, in fact, who was it? Somebody asked last time if somebody could play my life in a film, who would it be? Ronnie Corbett. Now, again, those of a certain age will remember the two Ronnies, and Ronnie Corbett is a little Scottish one. And he used to sit in a giant chair at the end of the night and go on to some rambling story, which was really... that's me. Basically, Ronnie Corbett in a chair in the Quernus studio. That's who's going to do it. Anyway, Sue's on the line. Hello, Sue. Lovely to see you. My goodness, you're just in the middle of a total blether. I mean, and it really is. It's more blethery than usual. And I can have some real blethers. Anyway, what was I talking about? Yes, so... before I got onto the multi-dimensional time and actually there being no time, let's go back to deadlines. So yes, so Holly Gordon is the photographer. She does amazing wildlife photography. She's just brilliant. She photographs big creatures and she's coming down to photograph the wee creatures. So she's coming on the 7th of August. So I have to have all the calendar scenes ready by the 7th of August. That's a fact. But actually, it works quite well having a deadline. I do work better to a deadline. I'm not a procrastinator as such. Well, yeah, I probably am actually, if I'm being brutally honest. But I'm just much better if I know, right, well, it has to be done then, so I can't faff. There is no faffage. No faffage at all. No time for faff. Just get on with it. And that's how I wrote my 4th year, my senior honours year dissertation was done sort of, overnight in 24 hours. I was just like, it's due, right, I'm just going to stay up 24 hours. And I wrote this thing and got a first class for it. So I know I can do it. It's maybe not the best of way and kind of don't do as I do, don't do as I say sort of thing. So it's how I work best, under pressure. I'm sure there's some kind of management term which I can't be bothered thinking about. Anyway, so I've started doing, so I've done 4 of the scenes so far, and I'm loving them. So I've done the January scene. I have, over the weekend, I did the July scene, And and a few weeks ago I did October scene, and I did the February scene as well on Sunday. So it's just, I'm going to earmark my weekends. They're going to be the scenes when I'm going to be working on the scenes. And actually, I am loving it. So it's a weekend where I can just play. I can be full out, have fun, enjoy, take mock-up shots. I mean, it's just, obviously they'll be so much better when Holly gets down and she can have a go at them. And I can't tell you anything about them either because it's going to be a surprise. But you've got a rough idea, I think, from the creatures that I've made, the mice that I've made so far. You've got a fairly good idea. You know, like there's a nursery theme for March, for example. And October, well, it's Halloween, isn't it? And yeah, so you don't know what the rest of them. Now, I had a lovely message from Kelly, who's in Australia. She sent me a message. Now, anybody can do this, by the way. I think I said in when I was reminding you about today's call, feel free, if you've got any burning questions which may get sort of swept down the comments, because I'm still, oh no, I've missed out lots of comments again because I'm scrolling. Anyway, if there's anything burning that you need to know, send me a message beforehand, and then I've got it, and it will definitely be answered, and I will definitely say. So, there we go. Oh, I will just, before I go into that, and I'll tell you what Kelly's question was, and I will answer it. I will just catch up with the with the comments that I realise have just happened as I scrolled myself off the screen again, back up, and then found my way to the comments. It's not easy being a Kirsten, I tell you. It's really not easy at all. It's quite good fun though. So anyway, yes. I'm Marisa, to Ronnie's fan. Excellent. Well, then you will know that Ronnie Corbett is, in fact, I am the female equivalent of Ronnie Corbett. So there you go. And we have Pamela is here too. Hello, Pamela. Lovely to see you too. Oh dear. Yes, this football thing. If you listen to the first part of the call, it was like, football, don't really understand why it's a thing, really, but everybody should be cheering, basically. So, excellent. Right. We've got... Kelly's question. God, this is like... I do have... Alison was telling me all about her squirrels in the garden who are munching on her cherry crop at the moment. I think some of them are hanging out in my head as well, because I'm just like... all over the place tonight. I don't know why. I'm so excited to be on tonight's chat. It was just, I don't know, just really looking forward to having a good blether, a proper blether with you. So, Kelly's question eventually, I'm building it up here. It was, she asked me, she said, well, once you've got the calendar photographed and ready and published, are you still going to keep them secret? And actually, this is a good question. And my idea is that yes, I will, it will still be an unveiling every month, because although you will be able to buy the calendar, I think from October onwards, just with the timing, the printers, I'm going to an Edinburgh printers, and they said that they would need the photographs by early September to have them ready, printed up and sent to me for early October, because I'm thinking if anybody wants them from overseas and whatever, I can get them sent out then early. Some of you might want to hold off, wait a bit until sort of near the end of the year. We'll see how it goes. And I don't know how many to order. I'm thinking maybe a couple of hundred. But I don't know. I don't know how many people actually want them. I should probably ask that question in the group and see whether I can get a rough idea of how many people want to order them, just so that I get enough. Because I will be putting all the photographs from from the calendar scenes. I want to make some kind of book that you can keep as well, not just the calendar, because I know that Holly's going to do such a good job with them. I know it's just going to be lovely. So, and of course it was going to be a book of the making of the Squeak Show project. Now, I've been forgetting to take photographs as I've been going along, so I don't know how much it's going to be, but I'm sure I can flesh it out with enough. I mean, it's all just happening here in this wonderful studio. So yes, the answer to the question is yes, because although even if you see the calendar before I've finished all the 12 mice, you'll still won't know exactly which mouse I'm going for, because a lot of these scenes have got multiple mice in them. You know, it's a proper giggle of mice for each of the scenes. Now, obviously, the ones that have gone before, so it'll be, if I get it, well, actually, there'll only be two more, won't there? There'll only be November and December's mice that you won't know anything about. Oh, November's good. You're going to like November. It's brilliant. December, they haven't told me yet. Thank you, mice. This is just wonderful. They keep sort of saying, oh, you could do this, but maybe that. Oh, no, leave it with us. We'll come back to you. So I'm like, I kind of want to know, and I kind of trust, and I still have to trust that they will come up and they will tell me, and I will know exactly what the right, because there's so many things that you can do for Christmas. And I also want to make sure that it's a new mouse, because all the designs so far have been designs that I've never made before. They've all been, they're all new mice. They're all quirky and they're their own little thing, and they all have a particular tie into the, I mean, they're fab, and I want to keep that going. So I don't want to just, do a Christmas mouse that I've done before, which does narrow things down a bit, because I have made a lot of Christmas mice. It must be said. If you go and have a look on my Flickr page, and I will come, I see that there are some more comments. I've not been looking at them, but I will in a minute. If you go on my Flickr page to my a very merry Quernus Christmas or something, that's the album, my Christmas album, you will see just how many Christmas mice I have made over the 12 years that Quernus has been going. And in fact, tomorrow is the 30th of June, and that is my 12th anniversary of my very, 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 very last day ever as a lawyer. I know, I do keep celebrating this. It's just, I am so happy I'm not a lawyer anymore. I'm so happy I am not a lawyer anymore. It's just brilliant. It's just so brilliant. Anyway, I'm now going to go and catch up with the comments, because we've got the folk annals joke, which again, two Ronnies. I know there are quite a lot of time sensitive, I suppose, jokes which happen here, or references to 70s and 80s. That's kind of, that's my stomping ground. And I think quite a few of us share that stomping ground. And that is good. This is good. And yes, Alison, I do have his glasses as well. Thank you. They are actually purple. They're not sort of thick-ringed NHS ones. I managed to get, sort of graduate from the NHS frames that we used to have from many, many years ago. But yes, I could be. I think I've got whiter hair than him. It's not all white. It's kind of salt and pepper. I want it to be completely white. I would really love white hair. I did start out. I haven't read these comments actually. But yeah, I started off with a Morticia streak when I was about 18, so I had sort of like dark brown hair, but I had this Morticia streak, well, that way around. It was there all the time, and it's just spread. It's grown out. But I would really like it to be all white now, thank you, not just the in-between stage. It's sort of like given up a bit at the moment. Anyway, back to the comments. So Anne-Marie is asking how much the calendars will be. I haven't got a price yet, but it'll probably be about, I don't know, £10 or so. I'm not entirely sure. They are going to be quite big, and they're going to be plush. And I mean, this year, I mean, I'll be honest, it's an expensive year, and it's so worth it because it's the Squeak Show. So there's lots of extra expenses that I'm kind of, swallowing myself, just to make sure that everything is done, because it's my project. It's something that I'm doing it really for me, and it's so wonderful that for those of you who are collecting want to take part in it. That's brilliant. But ultimately, I'm having a blast. I mean, it is quite a pricey, so I don't want to pass on those costs, because it's just, I'll need to make sure that I can break even, and that I can cover the costs. So it's not it's not a case that I'm sort of sitting here rolling in like, gold bars from the Squeak Show. Not at all. It's just wonderful to be able to do it once. It is a one-off project. I don't think I'll be repeating this again. But the calendar scenes I could do something like that later on, because I'm really enjoying doing the individual scenes, and it'd be nice to do, we talked about this quite a few Brew and Blethers back, I think, about doing sort of like maybe famous scenes from films. I could do like 12 scenes with wee creatures in them, sort of copying famous scenes. So there's lots of ideas. So short answer is I don't know yet. I haven't got the final price back from the printers yet either, and we'll still have to discuss it once I can get all the photos to them to see whether there's any extra pages at the back or the front, which I'll be including. I've got an idea for the front cover, but that might just be, a step too far. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But as soon as I know, I'll let you know. But it's going to be, I'll certainly keep it. This is not going to be. Yes, the calendars are £50. No. And also, there will be a special deal. Whether I can give a calendar for all those people who've collected the full 12 set. Hopefully, I really would like to do that, and I'm going to have to do my sums and make sure that works out. But that's my thinking, because it'd be, for those of you who are sticking by this, and you've got the mice, and very soon I'll be sending off all the mice, like the full set of 12. Once December decides to tell me what they want to be. So once I've got the full 12 set prototype, they'll be getting shipped off to Tabitha so that she can have a look and see about doing a special display case just for the Squeak Show mice. Now, I don't know how feasible that will be. She'll tell me once she's had a look through. It'd be lovely, I think, to be able to offer the chance. But I know that I'm sure that all the Squeak Show mice so far have probably integrated themselves into their various queerness families wherever they've gone. So it may be, they may not want to have a separate house. I don't know, but we'll see. That's still an idea, and still I would like to do, and not a definitely we're going to do it. I really must catch up with these comments. I'm just really, and it's 8:30 already. My goodness, where does the time go? I don't know. Oh yes, so Sarah, I've kind of answered this one. So will they be slimline or big squares? They're going to be big squares. So I think it's going to be like A4. The photos will be A4, and they'll fold out to a big square to A3 effectively. So that's the idea. So most of them, I think they'll all be pretty much landscape. So again, that's something I'll need to speak to Holly about, but that's the idea. But it's going to be really, really nice. Now, Melissa is saying, I could create a poll. Do you know, I really do keep scrolling myself away. It's not helpful, Facebook. Thank you. You could create a poll, or whatever they call it, about how many to do. Good idea. Yes, and I think it is called a poll. So I shall do that. That'll be fine. And Rachel, yes, you really remember. Oh, they're all good. Really, I've got them all planned out apart from December. And they're so lovely. They sit. I've got prototypes for them all, and they sit, and I can't show you them. But they're here. They're just out of sight behind the camera. How frustrating is that? Am I teasing you too much? It's great. So they're here, and they sit, and they chat to me, and they're good. They're good. Let's just say rainbows might be involved, books might be involved. I don't know. I can't tell you anymore. It's all going to be a surprise. So we'll do a prepayment for the calendar. Tammy's suggesting that's a good idea. So maybe a deposit, just to make sure that means then I know exactly how many. Yes. Well, let me put that as a poll. I mean, because what I've been doing, as you know, with the Squeak Show mice, I've been sort of taking the requests and then making a few extra which go in the shop. But I think that most people, and I would do the same. I could do the same with the calendar. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Yeah. But there are actually still a few of the wee creatures left in the shop. So I think anybody who's sort of up for a Squeak Show creature, either a mouse or an inspired by creature, they've already put in their requests. But it's quite nice having the shop with a few creatures in it. This is not me saying, please buy the creature. This is not me saying that, okay, at all. It's just, it's such a change after, so many years of having a barren shop. And it's, so anyway, it's nice to have them in there. And they enjoy the view. Yes, and Alison, I think there is a calendar committee going on somewhere. I just wish they would invite me to the meetings. It might make my sleeps a little easier at night. Anyway. Oh yeah, Santa's Queerness Workshop with lots of elf mice, or skating mice on an ice rink. Skating mice. Do you know? I've been asked to do skating mice before. Do you know how hard it would be to make mice that are on tiny, tiny little Anyway, Lorna is asking if you'll be able to order more than one. Yes, that's the idea. If I can get an idea of how many people definitely want them, then I will order that plus some more, so that they can go in the shop. This is one of the things. It's nice to have it as a calendar because it'll keep going all next year. I mean, that's I love that this is a 2 year project and possibly more if I can put. In fact, it may be the book of the Squeak Show could be the book of the Squeak Show, and then some extra photos if I speak to Holly and maybe do some more scenes and sort of. I know that Tabitha and I are working on a really lovely separate idea, which we may get round to after this project. It's just we haven't. I can't say anymore, and it's also cryptic. I'm sorry. It must be very frustrating when you hear me just like hints and tips, but it's all good. That's all you need to know. It's all good. Ah, now, Melissa saying, "Wake up, December, we might and get on with the program." You are so right. I know. I wish they would. I really wish they would, but I trust. I trust. Zen. Yes, they will tell me at the right time. There are like I can feel the ideas are there. The committees are meeting. They're having little discussions, and I trust it'll come in a dream, or it'll be like just as I'm waking up. That seems to be my time for ideas. It's just as I'm waking up, like so, like 6 or 7 in the morning, and it's just like, oh yes. So I know that that will come. I know that that will come. Anyway, mice riding alicorns. What are alicorns? Are they? Is that a Harry Potter thing, Anne Marie? I'm not sure that it is. Anyway, there's there are so many possibilities, which I think is the issue. It is the issue. Anyway, I'm talked out, but I feel like I could just keep talking for a very, very long time. So I should probably stop now, do the mic drop, and in fact, yeah, because look, I do actually have a proper mic. Do you see this? How posh is that? It's not really, but because you should see the wires beside it. It's a bit like any time at the end of one of these, and I'm trying to put away all the equipment. It's like a plate of spaghetti. That's what it's like. It's just very messy, black spaghetti. Winged unicorns. Oh, is that what they're called? Oh, I didn't know. Alicorns or winged unicorns. I would just call them winged unicorns. Oh well. Yes, Rachel, Carol singing Mice with Lanterns and Books has been, yeah, they're definite contenders, shall we say. And I was looking at different ways of doing the lanterns. And it may well work out yet, but let's see. Let's see. Oh, I think you'll like October as well, by the way. They're all fab. They're all fab. Oh, and I know I said I've got to go, but look what's just come through. The lass. I showed you the little ladder, climbing ladder mouse. Right. So she's made them. She's made more for me, and they're a bit smaller. So oh, there we go. So this is my little climbing mouse that I showed you before, the little ladder mouse. So these are just slightly smaller. So he should manage that a little bit easier. It's not quite so wide, and there's slightly less, not too much less, but so I'm going to be making ladder creatures because and I've got more of the little Christmas baubles as well, but they're not just for Christmas baubles because again Tabitha has done some wonderful little painted flowers, and they're going to be like little mini terrariums with little mini creatures. I, I'm very excited. There's lots to do. It's just yes, infectious enthusiasm. That's it is. It's just and although I am missing Enrique, he's still over in Mexico and will probably be for another couple of weeks. And he's doing well. He's doing well. He's enjoying spending time with his family, and he's been to see his aunt down in Chiapas, which is in the south of the country. Yeah, he's having his own adventures, and I'm actually really quite enjoying. Uh, I do miss him. I want to stress that. If you're listening, Enrique, I really do miss you. I do miss you, and it's also quite a treat for me just to keep working and keep working on and keep working on. So I'm making the most of it. So I think this is why I'm starting with the calendar scenes now as well as there being a deadline. But it means that I can just come in 7 days a week, and I really enjoy it. So yes, I'm making the most of it. They are certainly keeping me busy, happy, and otherwise occupied, which is good. And it will be lovely to see him when he comes back too. So Don't be thinking that I'm sitting here going, oh, I don't want him to come back now. No, I want him to come back, and I'm making the most of what is here, as we should every day. So I'm going to leave you with my thought for the day, which is make the most of every moment, hug everybody, forgive people, don't hold grudges, go out in nature, smile, giggle, roll in the grass, wade in puddles, stamp in puddles, and go swim in the sea and just enjoy life. Just make the most of it. It's so important. It's so, because, that's what life's all about. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. Right. I am going to love you and leave you, and thank you so much for joining me. It's lovely to see you all, and sorry for the disjointed kind of technological gremlins, which of course accompany me, I think, on pretty much every, in some shape or form. We'd miss them, wouldn't we, if they weren't here. I'm going to go. I shall see you tomorrow in the workshop, I would imagine, in the studio. I'll be back here, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, like those wee squirrels, so I can go off in little squirrel moments, as usual. Right. Have a wonderful evening, morning, night, day, wherever you are. Have fun, and I'll see you soon. Bye.